Hi everyone. So we'll start around 7:05. So we'll just wait for the attendees to go online lang. Right. So right now we are around around 200 we are around 20 plus attendees naman na. So we'll give them 3 minutes lang to go in. Thank you.
Yan. Hello! Hello, good evening everyone. Okay naman, kita naman ako. So yan, hello, good evening everyone. So welcome to AWS User Group Philippines first meetup of the year 2021. So in this group, we welcome everyone who wants to know more about AWS, from maybe students to professionals. And welcome po. Ayan. So ilan na po tayo ngayon? Meron na pong 37 participants. And pakilala lang po ako. I am Char Dagbay, Richard Dagbay, an AWS certified professional and DevOps by profession. And I'm a new leader dito po sa User Group Philippines ng AWS. And I'll be your host for tonight. And I'll just be sharing some screen to give you some announcements. Let me share some screen. Okay. Okay, hold on. There. Ayan, kita na po. Okay, yeah. Again po, welcome to our meetup for this January 2021, and we'll be having a recap of the last reInvent that held last 2020, December 2020, and ito pong last week din po, meron din pong ibang parts of reInvent that were held. So, as mentioned, isa po ako sa mga bagong leaders, and if you are interested, next slide, there. If you're interested po to speak, to volunteer, to be a leader, to organize, you are welcome to join po. Just reach out to us, reach out to Sir Rafi, reach out to Jambi, reach out to me, and we gladly need your help po. And we really, if you have that passion for AWS, you have the time, you have the energy, and you want to share that to the AWS community, you're welcome to join us. And just few announcements. This February 4, there will be an AWS certified dinner, 6 p.m. to 7:30. For now, it's an exclusive for those who are certified. So if you're certified, please register doon po sa link na nasa picture or visit yung user group Philippines, AWS user group Philippines na Facebook group. Andun po yung link to register. So may survey lang po na kailangan fill up for you to successfully register po for this event. And in connection to this, we would like to acknowledge some of those of us, maybe andito po sila. Ayan, kung andito po kayo, I would like to acknowledge those who recently passed the AWS certification since nung December, since walang meetup in December, and this January. So ito po yung mga, as far as we know, and ito po yung nag-share sa group na kanilang certification. So shout out lang po kami, so those recently certified. Yes, of course, congratulations to Sir Diwa. So he passed yung, I believe it's AWS Data Analytics specialty. So it's his 11th AWS certification in, it's 11 out of the 12 active AWS certification na meron. So isa na lang, kompleto na yung badges ni Sir Diwa. So congratulations, Sir Diwa, and thank you for inspiring each and every one of us po. And of course, for the specialty and profession, we like to shout out po. So last December, I passed in also the Certified Data Analytics specialty. And for Felix Marasigan, AWS Solutions Architect Professional, and kay Rial Mame also, who passed the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Professional. For the associate, congratulations to Charming Cruz, Joanna May Cabuyadaw, and Wilbert Silverio. All of them passed as AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. And there are some passers pa po, si Ricardo and si Luis Franco Grefiel, who passed the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. And for Real Mame, wow, sunod-sunod So AWS Certified SysOps Administrator Associate naman po. And also we have Jomar Manalo and Arnel Clave for AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. So and we have the cloud practitioner, who AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, Marianne Feliz Epler. So congratulations po sa inyo. And we'd like to encourage everyone to share to the community if you pass the certification. And we would gladly acknowledge you and congratulate you. It's really, I know how hard it is to go through the studies and effort in passing this kind of exams. And so thank you po. And congratulations also, congratulations again po dun sa mga who recently passed po yung certification. So we'll be proceeding with our topic for tonight. So last December 2020 and early this or second week na January 2021, we had this reInvent online. And maraming products, maraming features, maraming updates ang in-announce ang AWS. So we'll be having this session as a recap of those ano ba yung mga yon. So we will be having few speakers from AWS Philippines, and we'll be introducing to you sila mamaya-maya. Okay, so also as part of our program after our topic, if you have any questions after the topics, pwede nating entertain your questions. But also we will also have a panel discussion later after the talk. So stay with us if you have any questions, pressing questions, or any questions related to AWS, related to AWS, please stay and chat or give us an entry dun sa Q&A box ng Zoom. And so maybe let's proceed na po doon sa ating talk. So I'll be introducing the speaker from AWS Philippines. So as mentioned, we have two speakers from AWS Philippines. So our first, one of our speakers he is a, hold on. Okay. So he is a self-taught programmer, a self-board thinker, and someone who just loves tech. He comes from a software engineering background and currently focuses on cloud technology. He loves coding and tried dozens of programming languages, but currently enjoys Python. A solutions architect at AWS Philippines. Let's welcome Rom Gapus. And our second speaker, I will be introducing our second speaker also, or one of our speakers. She is a solutions architect at Amazon Web Services or AWS Philippines. As an AWS solutions architect, she helps customers in their cloud journey and provides them guidance and consultations. Before joining AWS, she worked as a software engineer. She is adept in release management, continuous integration and delivery, and in building microservices applications. So let's welcome Damsel Navarro.
Hello. Thank you, Chard, for that introduction. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So hopefully kita niyo yung screen ko. So pa-verify na lang, Chard, if you do.
Yes, I can see it now.
Oh, sige. So again, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to all. Oops, sorry. And I hope all of you have a great start of the year. So my colleague, Mr. Rom Gapos, and I will be doing the reInvent 2020 recap for you. So again, my name is Damsel Navarro. So I will be doing this first part of the recap. So as Chard have mentioned, actually there are a lot of major announcements that was released during the reInvent this December. So if you're not yet familiar, so AWS reInvent, so this is an annual learning conference event that is hosted by AWS. So before, this used to be a physical event that is held in Las Vegas. So just to give you an idea, the conference pass before used to cost around $1,700. But now, because of the pandemic, so we went 100% virtual in 2020. So the conference pass was actually now free. So you get to access all of those contents for free. Right. So those events actually featured keynotes, leadership presentations, as well as over 500 different sessions and feature announcements that was announced. So you can still view these on-demand sessions until January 2020. So if you go to virtual.aws events, so you will see those on-demand sessions. And after January 2021, this contents will be available now on YouTube, on the official YouTube channel of AWS. So for tonight, we will be discussing the highlights and also the announcements on the different technology category that was launched during the reInvent. So to start it off, so let's start with the developer tools. So we have the AWS Cloud Shell, which is actually a browser-based shell or terminal. So this is a good tool for you if you want to interact with AWS services or to quickly try to document samples, or even do some experimentations or explore new services more quickly. This is extremely useful, especially for those na ayaw nila madumihan yung local setup nila. You don't want to install any new versions, or if there are any versions na magko-conflict dun sa install nyo, kunyari, for example, diba? So you can use this to try out those things, or if you're just trying out to do new SDKs, or just want to see how it goes, diba? So yun yung isang magandang use case nito. So other than that, so what's great about this is that yung authentication niya is very simple. So once you log into AWS and then you go to Cloud Shell, so it inherits the credentials of the user that actually signed into that AWS console. So aside from that, you get pre-installed tools like the CLI or Python or Node.js or other popular tools that are being used by our developers right now. Pero if in case naman that your tool, the tool that you want to use is not yet inside Cloud Shell, so you can still install it inside this Cloud Shell, or even clone some repositories, because by using this, you also get 1 gigabyte of persistent storage. So there's no need to maintain this, no configuration needed, and best of all, of course, walang additional cost for you because this is a free service. So right now we have this in 5 different regions, and hopefully we can roll this out to the other regions as well. So next we have the Amazon location services. So we all know naman na location data is really becoming a vital part of our application service, diba? So especially in mobile application development, so you have there the navigation apps, you have the delivery apps, or even asset tracking or user engagement. However, a lot of the developers right now are having a hard time to integrate their location-based service to their applications. So, of course, meron naman tayong mga third-party integrations that you can use, pero this is still not very friendly for our developers. So they get stumbled upon a lot of barriers for them. So what are those barriers? So sometimes they experience pain points like on onboarding new provider, or how to integrate it with their application, or for example, for their applications that are in global with nationwide footprint, for example. So some of these third-party integrations have inconsistency, or they have limited coverage lang. So that's one pain point that they experience, and also there are a lot of questions about security and privacy that often comes up, right? So because this is a location service, so it's not just your application data that gets that will get compromised, but also your end users data, the one that are using your application itself. So because of these particular pain points, actually, that the Amazon Location Services was born. So this is fully managed, and it is very cost effective. So you get high quality data from global and trusted providers that you can easily use to integrate with your maps, your routes, and even your point of interest. And in terms naman of privacy and security, so this is a built-in feature already on Amazon Location Services. So the data that is sent to your location services does not actually leave your AWS account, or even the region that you are, or the region where you are using your location services. So in terms of the user management naman, so it is deeply integrated with our IAM. So you still get to fine-grain the control of your users. So you get to say who can only access Amazon location services. So currently this is on preview mode. So even though it's still in preview, so you can already create and add maps. So you can also place indices or geofence and trackers. So since this is still on preview mode, so you still get to use it for free. So next we have management and governance. So firstly, here we have the AWS product. So Proton is a deployment service, a fully managed deployment service that is specifically made for our containers and serverless application. So what this does is it actually enables our platform teams to define the standard templates and to essentially manage them and make them available for our developers in the organization. So our developers can already use this in a very self-service way of deploying and managing serverless and container-based applications. So some of the key features of Proton. So of course, you get a self-service interface that is fully customizable by using the AWS console or the CLI. So aside from that, the console also guides you through the process of creating and deploying your shared resources as environments, right? So as I mentioned, so this is a centralized management and visibility. So you also get to do template management. So for example, if you have templates that you want to version control, so you can do that with Proton. So the grade also is very seamless because it features one-click upgrades in the console. So it also has infrastructure pipelines and third-party integrations. So you can integrate it with other services like AWS CloudWatch or any CI/CD tools that you use to help you deploy and monitor the health of your application stacks. So for the other announcements, we also have the AWS Service Catalog app registry. So for those of you who are not yet very familiar with Service Catalog, so what this does is it allows you to create catalogs of your IT services or any approved products that your end users can use. So the very purpose of this service catalog is to help you centralize and also manage your IT services or applications because by doing this or even by using this, so you can achieve a consistent governance across all your organization. So you can make sure that your team is meeting the compliance requirements by using this because you've already set up the template that it needs to follow for them to comply with your requirements. So actually, it has a new feature called the app registry. So what this does it manages the application deployed in the service catalog and it lets you automate the updating of stack and also the metadata changes by just calling the app registry API itself. So you can do this within your CI/CD processes. So next, we also have an update with the AWS License Manager. So what the License Manager does is it helps you manage your software licenses from different vendors across your AWS account or even on your on-premise environments. So before kasi, what typically happens is that each of your users would have to independently accept the licensing terms and also subscribe through their own individual accounts. Pero right now, because of this feature, so it lets you purchase a license from a marketplace, and then once you've purchased that, you can just distribute the licenses across your AWS organizations. So this greatly helps with automating your software deployments as well as tracking your licenses in a single account. So no need to jump into different accounts just to make sure that their licenses are still, they're still okay. They're still following the same number of licenses. So it's already essentially controlled via this central account. So aside from that, we have few releases for our systems manager. So our systems manager, for those of you who are not yet familiar, so this gives you visibility and control to your infrastructure inside AWS. So it also gives you essentially, a UI that you can use to essentially manage and automate your tasks across all of your resources, right? So it makes it easier for your systems administrator or even for your DevOps engineer to manage your instances or resources across all of your accounts. So in here, we released three new features or like subsets of systems manager. So we now have the application manager, which is a new capability that enables you to auto discover your applications. So you can also view operational data. You can perform actions within the context of your application. Like, for example, if you want to add or delete components manually, so you can do that inside the application manager. So aside from that, we have also released the fleet manager. So what this does naman is it provides you with visual tools and an aggregated or centralized view of your instances. So if you need to perform administrative tasks inside a lot of your instances, so instead of remotely going inside one of those servers, so you can just control them everything via this fleet manager. So aside from that, we also have the change manager. So this, what this does is it simplifies the way you track or even approve or implement changes to your applications or infrastructures. So uh, uh, once you've used this change manager, it actually provides you with a report or a list of changes that was made across your organizations and even the reason or, for example, who approved this change or who implemented them, right? So that gives you this kind of visibility. So aside from that, this change manager it can be implemented in a single account or in a multi-account configuration. Okay, so moving on to security. So we have a few updates for our security category. So we have there the firewall manager. So the firewall manager is actually a security management service. So what this lets you do is it allows you to centrally configure and manage your firewall across all of your accounts and applications in an AWS organization. So yung latest update niya is actually to support the newest version of AWS WAF because recently there was a release on WAF that lets it use the latest API, so WAF v2, and also AWS managed rules for AWS WAF. So next we have an update for Security Hub. So this gives you a very comprehensive view of your security alerts and even the whole security posture across your AWS accounts. So in here, you can see an aggregated list of your alerts and findings from different or multiple AWS services like Guard Duty or Inspector or even Macy. So no need for you to switch back and forth between security tools. So they are already aggregated or centralized using the Security Hub. So in this slide, lastly, we are happy to announce the release of VPC Reachability Analyzer. So this analyzer is a network diagnostics tool that actually helps you troubleshoot the reachability between the two endpoints of your VPC or even from multiple VPCs. So it gives you or it provides you a hop by hop details of your network path. Also, the network path between your source and of course your destination. So this is very useful for those who want to troubleshoot something or to troubleshoot the network connectivity issues that might have been caused by network misconfigurations, for example. Right? So next, we are announcing the general availability of Network Firewall. So Network Firewall is a managed service that you often use to deploy network protections for all of your VPCs. So the setup of this is very easy. So in just a few clicks, you will be able to launch this Network Firewall. So since this is a fully managed service, so this is highly available as well. So it scales automatically along with your network traffic. So no need to worry about deploying or managing any of this. So you also get to have control over rules and controls. So these rules and controls naman are very, very flexible because it lets you define the firewall rules that can give you a fine-grained control over your network traffic, right? And aside from that, this also integrates very well with AWS Firewall Manager that I've mentioned before. So you could build the policies based on the network firewall and then essentially apply them on your VPCs and accounts. So a good use case for this would be to inspect VPC to VPC traffic, or if you want to filter your outbound traffic. So for example, if you want to filter out certain URL or domain or IP address, or even content-based outbound filtering. So you can do that here, as well as filtering out the internet traffic and to secure also your AWS Direct Connect or VPN access. So we know a lot of lens already in the cloud, and we now have another lens to add to that collection. So now we have the S3 storage lens. So we all know naman that S3 is a very versatile service. So you can use it for hosting your static website, or use it for your backup and storage. So you can also use it for your media storage and data lake, right? Pero as you grow and your S3 footprint increases, so padami na padami yung mga S3 bucket na nakikreate natin, di ba, sa isang account natin. So you may already find it difficult, or you may find it already difficult to understand how your storage is used across all of your organizations, especially if you are di ba, if you belong to an organization na sobrang dami yung AWS accounts na maintain. So it makes it hard for you to optimize your costs, or even to improve your security posture because wala kang visibility on these S3 buckets. So that's actually where storage lens fits in. So with this storage lens, so you can easily analyze or even optimize the storage with the metrics, and also with interactive dashboards that is available to you. So aside from that, you also get to aggregate the data of your entire organization, or it can be on a specific account only, or a specific region, buckets, and so forth. So it's very, very flexible. So next we have the Nitro enclaves. So Nitro enclaves naman are an isolated environment on EC2 instances. So think of this as an additional layer of security for our EC2 instances to process your highly sensitive data. So anong pinagkaiba nito sa regular instance? So unlike yung regular instances natin, so the enclave does not have any network connectivity, or even or even local disk, and it is not accessible even by a user that has an admin right. So this actually supports a lot of workload. So things like processing PII, or working with DRM keys, or even managing your encryption material. So we have the DevOps Guru right now in preview. So it is already available in 5 different regions. So DevOps Guru naman, this is a machine learning powered service. And the main purpose of DevOps Guru is to reduce the time and effort that you spend when trying to detect or resolve issues that could lead to downtimes. So if we take a closer look to it, so we can see here that it's using pre-trained machine learning models to actually detect these anomalies within your AWS accounts, or AWS boundaries. So you might be wondering where this pre-trained machine learning models came from. So it actually came from Amazon's years of internal operational expertise to train this model, so that you or our customers can also apply this to your own metrics or data to obtain certain insights, or potential anomalies that it could detect on your workloads. So what it looks for actually is the high sensitive incidents, the high severity incidents. It also gather and correlate other events or issues that may be contributing to certain issues. And the result of this, scanning, or this DevOps Guru, is it helps you resolve your issues fairly quickly. So we also have here the AWS Audit Manager. So this is already in general availability. So it enables you or helps you to audit governance and also your compliance team to continuously audit your AWS usages. So it just simplifies your task or the way you assess your risk and compliance with regulations and industry standards. So the way that Audit Manager actually do this is it uses pre-built frameworks that can help you map your AWS resources to the requirements of the industry standards or regulations like PCI DSS or GDPR. So this is very customizable. So once you start using this, you actually automatically begins to collect and organize the evidence across your accounts. So it also features a delegation feature. So ito namang delegation feature, so ang pwedeng gawin dito is you can give your team members the right to review the control set and related evidence or to add comments or upload additional evidence or update the status of each control. So at the end of this auditing, so of course it gives you a summary or a report of all the assessment that happened. So moving now to compute. So to start off, so we'll look at EC2 muna. So the updates on our EC2 services. So for our Apple developers, so this is a very good news. So in addition to Linux and Windows, we are actually introducing to you Amazon EC2 Mac instances. So before, what you can only provision is Linux and Windows instances. Pero now you get to provision and also access Mac environments within minutes. So the same way that on how you create your Linux or Windows instances, so the same way then yung pag-create sa kanya. And you also get to enjoy the dynamic scaling or the pay-as-you-go pricing and even the deep integrations with the AWS platform. So these Mac instances are actually built on top of Mac Mini hardware. So you get to choose the two flavors. So you can use Mojave or Catalina. So right now it's only available to 5 regions, but of course we're hoping to roll it out soon for all of the regions, diba? Para magamit din ng sa ibang regions. Okay. So next we have the broadest choice of processors in the cloud. So we have Intel, we have AMD, and we also have the Graviton. So the latest on this is that we have Graviton 2 processors already. So what is the Graviton 2? So these are actually the second generation of AWS ARM processors. So the Graviton processors are actually AWS custom ARM processors, and these processors were used for low power devices like smartphones, diba? Pero now they're coming to data centers. So what is the benefit of using ARM processors ba? So the benefit would be it is very energy efficient chip. So it gives you around 7 times the performance, 5 times faster memory, and 4 times the compute cores. And it also gives you a 40% better price performance versus the current generation of our x86 instances. Yeah. So if you're wondering what AWS services currently supports Graviton, so here they are, along with the corresponding target general availability for each of them. Yeah. So we also have other instance announcements. So firstly, we have the R5B. So this is the newest memory optimized instances that gives you an increased EBS performance by around 3 times compared to the same size R5 instances that you get to use before. So we also have here the M5ZN. So yung M5ZN naman, so these are the next generation of general purpose compute instances that actually improves your application's high performance with the fastest Intel Xeon scalable processors. We also have the D3 or the D3EN. So this gives you the most local storage of up to 336 terabytes. So this is a good fit for your big data or analytics workload like data warehousing and also a high scale file system. So we also have the G480. So this new instances naman gives you the best price performance for graphics intensive applications. So for example, you want to run virtual workloads in the cloud. So this is the right instance type for you. So this is powered naman by AMD Radeon Pro V520 GPUs. So next we have our compute. For our compute is the serverless. So there is now a container image support for Lambda. So this is specifically useful for all of you who are already using containers that wants to transition to using Lambda. So if you're one of those people, so you don't have to repackage it anymore or repackage it into a zip file. So you get to leverage now the existing set of tools that you use for your containers to your Lambda-based application. So this also increases the portability across your different AWS compute options. So the images that you can use here actually can be from the open source base image, also from images from different communities as well as private enterprise images. So the way that you package this is still by using the Docker CLI or even the AWS SAM CLI. So you get the same benefits that you are already experiencing in Lambda. So you get automatic scaling, you get high availability, and you also get native integration with 140 services. So for those developers naman who have larger workloads, so you can now use the container images of up to 10 gigabytes in sizes. And this update actually opens a lot of workload possibilities for you, especially for those of you who are using it for data heavy or dependency heavy workloads. So another good news for our Lambda users, so there is an additional cost savings feature that was released for you. So there's now the billing granularity was now reduced from 100 milliseconds down to 1 millisecond. So this actually lowers the price for most of those Lambda functions, especially those of you who run Lambda functions for a short period of time only. So for example, I have a function of running 30 milliseconds on average. So before, I still get billed for 100 milliseconds. So even though I'm just running it for 30 milliseconds, so I'm still getting billed for 100 milliseconds. But now with this release, so you get billed only for those 30 milliseconds, and this results in around a 70% price drop. So this was already in effect starting the last December 2020 billing cycle. So aside from that, you get additional cost savings on Lambda, diba? So aside from those cost savings, you can now allocate up to 10 gigabyte of memory to your Lambda functions. So we all know naman since Lambda allocates the CPU resources along with the, since Lambda allocates the CPU resources in proportion to the amount of memory configured, so this means that if your memory increased, your vCPU can now go up to 6 vCPU as well in each of your execution environment. So aside from that, we also have an update from Amazon Event Bridge. So this is a serverless event bus, that you can use to simplify your own communication between your microservices, right? And aside from that, we have also a new admin UI for AWS Amplify. So moving on to containers. So we now have the Red Hat OpenShift service on AWS, or what we call ROSA. So ROSA is already on preview and it is set to be generally available in Q1 of 2021. So this is actually a jointly operated and supported by Red Hat as well as AWS to provide you a fully managed Red Hat OpenShift. So it has an uptime of 99.95%. So this is also a production-ready OpenShift that many enterprise users use on their premise today. And this will actually simplify the ability for you to ship your workloads to the AWS cloud. So it also has multi AZ. So it also supports scaling and healing of workers or application nodes. So we also have the EKS open source distro. So this distro is available now as open source on GitHub. So the Kubernetes distribution or open source components actually help you to create a reliable and secure cluster. So this includes yung binaries, the tooling, the security patches, and configurations that are all tested for compatibility. So this also provide extended support for your Kubernetes versions in alignment to the EKS version lifecycle policy. So next we have EKS Anywhere. So there's a new deployment option for EKS. So what this basically does is it enables you to create and operate Kubernetes clusters on premise, including your own virtual machines and bare metal. So if you would run this on your on premise, at least it will give you a or provide you a consistent Kubernetes management tooling if whether it's on premise or on the cloud. So if ever you want to use your existing on-premise servers to, let's say, use it for testing, development testing, or like QA testing, diba? So you can install EKS there. So when you deploy it to production, the one that you have in the cloud, for example, so you can experience the same consistency on how you create and you operate those clusters. So aside from EKS, we also have ECS Anywhere. So they're on the same genre. So they use ECS. You can now use ECS on any compute infrastructure, whether that would be on our AWS regions or local zones, or even in your on-premise environments. So we also have an update for ECR. So there's now a public option for your ECR. So when you choose um, to use the public option. So you can now discover or even share or use container images that vendors or open source project or community developers share publicly via the ECR public gallery. So aside from that, we have a new update for Amazon MQ. So before it only supports Apache MQ, but now it also supports RabbitMQ. So we also have here the general availability of our outposts. So this is a fully managed service that extends the AWS infrastructure and tools to your data center. So this creates a truly hybrid experience for you. So you also get the same hardware and software infrastructure and a consistent set of services and tools across your AWS cloud and also the on-premises. So ito namang mga AWS Outposts, so these are also fully managed and supported by AWS. So AWS automatically manages them and updates them if ever there is an ongoing operations in the public AWS region. So you don't have to worry about updating or patching the infrastructure itself. So some of the good use cases for this is if you have low latency compute that you need to run in your on-premise, or if you have any data residency requirements that needs to be in a specific or in a particular country or in a specific municipality or city, so you can use AWS Outposts for that. So you can also use this for your local data processing. So for example, if some of your local data sets can be easily migrated to the cloud for processing, so you can use AWS Outposts for that. So aside from that, so these are some of the services that you can run on Outpost. So you have ECS or EKS clusters for containers. You can also run EMR for your big data. Aside from that, you also get to run Amazon RDS for databases locally on your Outpost. And if you are looking to apply AI or ML frameworks such as SageMaker, so you can also do that here. So right now, Outpost is currently available on the following countries. So hopefully there will be one soon for Philippines. Pero just stay tuned. So we will be adding more countries over time. So if you are curious to know what it looks like, so ito yung itsura ng AWS Outpost. So as you can see, you have here the patch panels as well as the host as well as the network switches. So ganito yung itsura niya. Okay, so what about for those naman na walang space? Kunyari, kasi di ba, malaki siya, malaki yung full rack ng Outpost. So how about for those enterprises that are conserving space or wala ng space sa kanilang data centers? So we also have the 1U and the 2U Outposts. So these are rack mountable servers that are ideal for enterprise customers who also wants to bring the AWS services to their data centers pero with limited space. So ito yung itsura nila. So they can be 1 to 3 to 4 inches tall. So aside from that, we have the local zones. So ang local zone naman, so these are just an extension of your AWS region. So this is a new type of AWS infrastructure deployment where there are no AWS region that exists today. Okay, so next we have the storage. So for the storage, we actually have a new volume, which is the GP3. So this is now the 7th variation of our EBS volumes. So what it does is it lets you independently increase the IOPS as well as the throughput without having to provision additional block storage capacity. So yung baseline IOPS nito would be 3,000 and it also gives you 20% lower storage price compared to the other ones. So this is very ideal for applications that require high performance at a low cost, like relational or non-relational databases like MySQL or Cassandra or even virtual desktops or Hadoop clusters, right? So aside from that, we also have a preview now of IO2 Block Express. So it's now open for you to check it out and see what's inside there. So ito yung first storage area network that was built for the cloud. So with this, you can now get a consistent sub-millisecond latency of around less than 10 milliseconds. So this is very ideal for your workloads that are IO intensive. So this can be critical deployments of your Oracle or SAP HANA or SQL servers. So for the IoT, we have a latest addition to the IoT line. So there is now an IoT core for LoRaWAN. So again, this is a fully managed service that is used to connect and manage your devices or wireless devices that you can use to power, low range, wide area network connectivity to AWS. So by using this, yung enterprises can now set up their own private LoRaWAN network by connecting to their own LoRaWAN devices and gateways to the cloud. So by doing that, of course, you get to accelerate your application development. So aside from that, we have some few updates for the Internet of Things. So we have the free RTOS long-term support to provide years of feature stability. So it gives you around 2 years of support for that. So we also have a new version for AWS IoT Greengrass. So this provides you an open source edge runtime. So you get to access a rich set of pre-built software components and tools for local software development. Right. We also have what we call the Fleet Hub. So this is a new feature that enables customers to easily create and fully managed web application to view and interact with their device fleets. So we also have the IoT Sitewise Edge. So this is a new feature of IoT Sitewise that is now on preview. So what you can do with this is it provides you with software that runs on premises at industrial sites that can collect or process or even monitor your equipment data locally before you send it to the cloud or to the AWS cloud destinations. Okay, so for that, we have reached the halfway mark. So I would like to pass the baton now to my colleague, Mr. Rom Gapus.
Thank you, Dams. Let me just share my screen. Chard, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, that's wrong.
Thank
You
you.
can see it now.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about the second half of the reInvent recap. So I'll be following through what Dams has discussed. And first, I'll be talking about analytics and big data. So I guess just to point out, in this slide, if you look at it, there are several information. Like you can see here that it's available in 7 regions. Sometimes you see here that it's available for preview, or you see here that it's GA, or what we call generally available. So that you customers can now use it, and you can see here the categories in which this particular service or feature is part of. So I guess do watch that out. Uh, if it's on preview, if it's on GA. So if it's on GA, you can already use it. You can go to your AWS console and you can see it there. If it's on preview, you need to apply for a preview. There's a form on each of these services that are on preview, and you can apply. And once approved, you can use that service in your AWS account. Okay, moving on. Uh, in the analytics services, one of the launches is the AWS Glue Data Brew. So Glue Data Brew is a visual data preparation tool. It's one of the things that you do in AWS Glue to prepare data, clean it before you can actually get insights from your analytics, or use it for machine learning to get more machine learning insights. So before you can do that, you need to prepare the data. And it's been hard to do that using traditional tools like Spark, Hadoop. And although you have AWS Glue, which is a clusterless service for doing ETL, you still need to write those code to perform those cleansing and preparation. Now, what AWS Glue Data Brew does, it's a visual preparation tool, and it makes it easy for you to clean and normalize the data so that you can prepare it for analytics and machine learning. It has a lot of over 250 built-in transformation. So it's visual. You can put those transformation already, and you can package those transformation as a template so that the next time there's new data that is coming into the data set, that can be applied and use for those new data set, and then transform and clean those data. Oops, sorry. So these are some of the features of Glue Data Brew. So you can profile your data. So these are some of the things that is interesting for data engineers and data scientists. They want to understand.
Rom,
Sorry.
excuse me, Rom. Nawala yung sharing,
Oh,
your screen. Yeah. Can you
let
reshare
me
it?
try again. Can you see it?
Yan. Yan,
Yeah.
okay na. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so here are some features of Glue Data Brew. So the first one is profiling data. So profiling data is one of the things that data engineers and data scientists want, so that before they actually run analytics, they need to understand ano yung nasa data. They want to understand ano yung mga categorical data. They want to understand ano yung how much of the data doesn't contain yung empty values, for example, or how much of the data is ready basically for analytics. So this is a way for you to assess the quality of the data before actually using it to for your analytics or machine learning needs. And then next is clean and normalized data. So without writing code, you can actually clean and normalize data. There's over 250 built-in transformation to visualize it, clean it, and then normalize the data. And there is a point-and-click visual interface for you to do this. So transformations such as filtering anomalies, standardizing formats, and correcting invalid values. Makikita mo doon yung mga data. And next is the map data lineage. So this is one of the sought after feature in AWS Glue. And I had customers asking me several occasions already na asking me na do you have this data lineage capability? So yung lineage capability allows you to visually map yung lineage ng data. When I say lineage, kasi yung data is coming from a source and then it gets processed and gets processed again and then up until it's available now for analytics. There's some several paths of those data. Sometimes yung data, for example, raw siya, i-clean and then prepare. And afterwards, tatanggalan ng PII, personal identifiable information, making it anonymized so that you can use it for analytics without worrying about data privacy. So all of those steps gusto makita ng mga customers is ano yung steps ng nangyari. Ang tawag ng lineage, data lineage. So si Glue Data Brew has the capability to visually map the lineage of your data para alam mo kung saan nanggaling na source, and then alam mo kung ano yung mga transformation that has happened in data. And then lastly, you can automate yung data preparation task. So Glue Data Brew can clean and normalize data, and you can use this capability to automate yung data preparation task. Yung transformation nga na you've done in the data can be saved. So you can apply it to new data as it comes into your data lake. And you can use this to integrate data from your data lake, data warehouses, and databases, including Amazon S3, Redshift, Lake Formation, Aurora, and Amazon RDS. So si Glue Elastic Views is a way for you to build materialized view. So for those who are familiar with analytics, a materialized view is like a virtual representation of the data coming from a source table. So it's like a cache. So meron ka mga source table and then you create a query to create a materialized view. So yung materialized view is like a cache. It will cache the query result in that materialized view so that yung downstream services requesting for that data, ang kukunan niya na lang ng data is yung materialized view instead of querying it. Kasi mas mabilis na mag-query ka sa materialized view kasi pre-computed na eh. Especially if yung query mo maraming aggregation, maraming joins, which is matagal i-compute yung materialized view. It makes it easy ngayon for those querying that data because it's already materialized. So si Glue Elastic Views allows you to create a materialized views out of data sources coming from some examples, yung Aurora, RDS, and DynamoDB na data sources. It will create a materialized view in a target database. So yung mga target database, you can see it here. Si Redshift, Elasticsearch, Amazon S3, DynamoDB, Aurora, and RDS. So Glue can aggregate, join using to create a materialized view. You just use SQL, so very familiar for us to create a view, and it gets created in the target database. So next, this is not new. See Amazon QuickSight. This is not new, but this is a precursor to some of the one of the features that is added in QuickSight. So we all know QuickSight is a business intelligence service that you can create visualization, yung mga graphs, you can create yung counters so that you can create your BI dashboard, and it's a pay per session pricing. And also it has machine learning insights na features like it is able to detect anomaly and may forecasting siya. And you can also bring your own model from Amazon SageMaker, our machine learning managed machine learning service. And so it's usage based, so pay per session. A session is 30 minutes. It auto scales, and it is serverless. It's fully managed by AWS, so you don't have to manage your own BI tool. It's secure and deeply integrated with a lot of AWS services like Athena, RDS, S3, Redshift, etc. So and lastly, you can embed it into your application, yung mga dashboard, and also you can programmatically add users and manage content. Now, what's interesting with Amazon QuickSight is the Amazon QuickSight queue. So si Amazon QuickSight queue is basically a search bar lang siya. So type in your questions na in a natural language. So similar to how would you ask yung mga data engineers or data scientists to churn out data na regarding yung information regarding do sa data set mo. So for example, how is my sales tracking against my quota? So for those salesperson, they want those data. And then other questions na pwede mo itanong dito, what are the top products sold week over week by region? So yung mga ganong klaseng questions. So if you notice, those questions are natural language query. Very natural. So si Amazon QuickSight Queue is able to understand those natural language query, process that, and is able to give out answer na visualize. Siyempre, QuickSight yan is a business intelligence tool. So based on your question, it will give out visualization like a pie graph or a line graph or bar graph based on the question that you're answering. So under the hood, it has machine learning to understand yung query mo and process that, and then it basically look deep on the data to give you out those answer to your question. So si Aqua, Advanced Query Accelerator, is a feature in Redshift. So we know Redshift, which is a cloud-based data warehousing service na AWS. And si Aqua, actually this was, nabanggit na to last year, last 2019. And then last year, it's now on preview. So as you can see, si Aqua is now on preview. It's a way to accelerate yung query. So kung ito yung Redshift cluster mo, you can see yung Redshift cluster mo. What's happening is that when you query yung cluster mo, it has several partitions. So that if you query, those partition will run your query on its engine and then give out the data and as a result to your query. Now, to accelerate yung response, yung result sets coming from your queries, yung Aqua Advanced Query Accelerator basically has a cache. So yung data mo are cached. So there is an Aqua node. So as you can see here, it's faster when you query. It's about 10 times faster than any other um, cloud data warehouse. And it's no extra cost. However, it's only available with the RA3, which is a fairly new instance type dun sa Amazon Redshift. So RA3 siya available. Kasi si RA3 is an instance type in Redshift in which they coupled yung compute cluster with the storage. So this is the compute cluster ni Redshift, and this is the Redshift managed storage, yung RMS. So hiwalay siya. Hiwalay siya. So yan yung attribute, characteristics ng RA3 na instance. So that's why this advanced query accelerator is only available in the RA3 na node type ni Redshift. So other features na update ni Redshift is data sharing. So you can share data coming from your cluster to other clusters, Redshift clusters. So they can query in your Redshift cluster. And then this one, CRA3. So I mentioned CRA3 and yung new node type ni Redshift na decoupled yung compute and then storage. Kaya siya decoupled yung compute and storage so that you can scale the storage independently from the storage. Previously kasi, if you want to scale your Redshift cluster, dadagdagan mo yung nodes. So para ma-scale mo. This one is, aside from just adding nodes, you can scale the storage because it's independent. So si RA3 Plus, ang challenge before sa RA3 is ang first kasi na launch ni AWS na RA3 na sizing is yung RA3 16X large, which is 48 vCPU and then 384 GB byte memory. So it's fairly large. So in North Virginia pricing, that's around $13 per hour. So it's quite large. That's why nag-launch kami. After that, nag-launch kami na RA3 4X large, which is 12 vCPU and then 96 GB byte memory. And still, for some customers, still malaki pa rin siya. So now, the RA3XL Plus is actually smaller. Ang size nitong node na to is 4 vCPU and 32 GB byte memory. So it's really small and it costs $1.086 per hour in North Virginia. So you can see that we've come up with our A3 XL Plus, which is smaller node type, so that customers running on yung mga older na node type like DS or can migrate to RA, which is decoupled yung compute and storage, so that you can utilize yung Aqua and faster yung query mo. Yeah. And this one, si Redshift Automated Table Optimization allows you to automate yung table optimization. So si Redshift, marami siyang performance optimization, tuning na meron na siyang features before like auto vacuum, delete, automatic table sorting, automatic analyze, yung Redshift Advisor para you can analyze yung to optimize cost and then performance. And then meron din siya yung automatic workload management for the concurrency connecting to the cluster. And meron na rin siyang previously yung Redshift can automatically refresh and rewrite yung mga materialized view that you have in Redshift. Now, ang isang automatic performance tuning na hinihingi ng customer namin is yung table optimization. Kasi when you create a data warehousing table in Redshift, there are two things that you need to define: sort key and then distribution keys. And sometimes for those who are new to data warehousing, who are coming from traditional na RDBMS like MySQL, PostgreSQL, hindi sila familiar on how to create schema on a data warehouse like Redshift. So that's why they have a lot of pitfalls on designing yung table schema. And so that's why we designed a lot of performance tuning na automation on Redshift. And this is the most recent na performance tuning, in which yung sort and distribution keys are automatically modified. What happens here is that Redshift service looks at how you query. Based on the query, it can modify yung sort and distribution keys without your intervention as administrator, without you altering that. It is altered automatically under the hood, so that you can yung performance can be optimized. And we've seen, based on benchmark, that there are 24 and 34% up to 34% performance improvement based on a 3 terabyte and 30 terabyte na TPC-DS benchmark. Yeah. And next is yung partner console integration. So yung partner console integration allows for native integration with select AWS partner directly in the AWS console. So with this, you can now onboard, accelerate data onboarding and create insights by integrating with partner solutions. With ito yung mga partner solutions like applications like Salesforce, Google Analytics, Facebook Ads, Slack, Jira, Splunk, Marketo. You can bring data when if you're using this application, you can bring data into your Redshift warehouse efficiently because you just need to go to the Redshift console to do that. Next is yung cross AZ cluster recovery. So itong cluster recovery, as you are aware, si Redshift is only supports currently single AZ deployment. So if you want multi-AZ, you need to create separate clusters between sa bawat AZ if you want multiple AZs for your Redshift. So a single Redshift cluster runs on single AZ. So itong cross AZ cluster recovery allows you to recover um, to a different availability zone based on the cluster snapshot from a source AZ. Next is si federated query. So si federated query is previously kasi ang supported na federated query with Redshift is yung RDS Postgres and Amazon Aurora Postgres SQL. So federated query allows you to create connection to RDS Postgres SQL and Aurora Postgres SQL so that you can join them in queries that you have in Redshift. So yun yung federated query. Now we're adding a new capability in that. So you can now query on Amazon RDS for MySQL and Amazon Aurora for MySQL. So aside from Postgres SQL, Amazon Aurora and RDS MySQL is now supported. Lastly, ito namang last is on Redshift is this is a support for JSON and semi-structured data as a column type in Redshift. So it allows you to if you're familiar with QL, it's a query language that you can use to seamlessly query and process semi-structured data. So it's a feature. It's open source by AWS yung Party QL. So you can now put JSON data into your columns and you can query it using Party SQL. So si Redshift Machine Learning allows you to, this is interesting. So Redshift, it goes to, integrates a machine learning service, si SageMaker. So under the hood, ang nangyari, si Redshift talks to SageMaker to create a machine learning model, train it, and then going back to Redshift, it will create a function in your Redshift, compile it as a function using SageMaker Neo para you can use it in your query. So to create a model, merong command, create model na command in Redshift that by running that SQL command, it will create a model in SageMaker autopilot, and based on the data na kung saan kukuha ng data yung model to train is SageMaker autopilot will auto-assign the appropriate built-in algorithm and apply the algorithm to train the model. And then as I mentioned, once the model is trained, it becomes a function in your Amazon Redshift so that you can use it in your query. So let's shift to databases. So Aurora Serverless version 2. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. So you may have heard na merong Amazon Aurora Serverless, and then this is the second version. It's basically a re-architected serverless Aurora Serverless from ground up. This is to support a variety of different workloads. Kasi the previous Aurora Serverless It actually, yung use case niya is for applications that have infrequent or intermittent or unpredictable workload. Now, with the version 2, because of the performance improvement, like it can scale up and it can automatically start up, shut down if not in use, and it can scale capacity up or down in just a few seconds based on your application needs. And because of this, it is able to cater to use cases that has are demanding, like a business critical application which requires high scale and high availability. And another interesting part of serverless version 2, although it's new, it's still on preview, it also supports full breadth of Aurora features, including yung mga global database, multi-AZ deployments, and yung mga read replica supported siya ni Aurora serverless version 2. Um, Another thing in databases is yung Babel fish for Postgres. So si Aurora Postgres SQL, si Aurora Amazon Aurora is a database service that is commercial grade. So commercial grade, you can use this for production application. And we have a lot of customers na running this in production at very large scale, si Amazon Aurora. One of the engines ni Aurora na very popular is a Postgres SQL. Now, one of the challenge, kasi dalawa yung engine ni Amazon Aurora, Postgres SQL and MySQL. One of the challenges ng some of our customers is migrating from Microsoft SQL Server going to Postgres SQL or MySQL because of yung differences with the engine. And you need to rewrite yung mga schema and then also yung stored procedures and queries that you have on Microsoft SQL. So it's been a challenge to convert Microsoft SQL Server, especially if you have a lot of tables, views, stored procedures, etc. You have a lot of those. It's been a challenge to migrate to PostgreSQL. Although it's not impossible, but it's a challenge. So it takes a lot of effort. Now, with the introduction of Babelfish for PostgreSQL, you don't have to migrate your, you don't have to, ang isa pang gagawin mo pala, when you migrate your SQL to Postgres is you need to modify yung application mo. And sometimes that's harder. Kasi yung application mo, ang kilala niya lang is Microsoft SQL. So you need to convert it to PostgreSQL, and there's a lot of things that you need to change in your application. So we made it easy for developers to integrate with PostgreSQL using Microsoft SQL Engine through the introduction of Babelfish. So si Babelfish is an endpoint for Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL that enables Aurora to understand commands from application written in for Microsoft SQL Server. So kung yung application mo, you don't need to rewrite yung application mo that is using Microsoft SQL Server. You can just use Aurora PostgreSQL. And a lot of our customers are migrating from Microsoft SQL Server or to Aurora because of a lot of challenge like licensing. It can be very expensive running MS SQL Server, especially if you are in regulated industries, like you require encryption or you require clustering or failover. You need an enterprise version of Microsoft SQL Server, and that can be very expensive. And those features are built in Amazon Aurora. So why not use Amazon Aurora to run those critical workload? And there's Babelfish to for your application, so that you don't need to rewrite your application because it's compatible with Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, let's shift gear. Let's go to end user computing. So I'm not sure if anyone has tried Amazon Connect. So I've tried it, a few years ago when it first launched. Connect. It's a very interesting service. It's a way for you to create a contact center that is built on the cloud, 100% on the cloud. Kasi if you are sa mga call centers, there are infrastructure with call centers. Yung phone system niya, PABX, connecting to provider, telephony provider, etc. It's very complex. Now, so for you to create a call center for your business, which is most businesses would need a call center kasi to answer, to connect with your customers. A call center is something that is very valuable. Now, it's a challenge to create a contact center because of the solution. It's very expensive, very hard to maintain, very hard to set up, and there's a lot of moving parts. So it's been a challenge. So see, Amazon Connect is an answer to that. We're using this in Amazon's retail business, Amazon.com, and this is the contact center that we're using. So if you call Amazon.com, you are routed to an Amazon Connect na system, ng contact center namin. So it has a lot of features like it can understand natural language, so you can talk to it, and it can talk to you. You can configure it in a way that it can do salutation, it can deep data, and then it can understand your voice. So for voice and chat, it can understand. So that is Connect. So if you want to create a contact center, you can use Amazon Connect, and you don't need a physical phone. It has a soft phone. So yung soft phone niya is you just install it. It's on. You just runs on the browser, and then you can answer phone calls from your machine. So may soft phone siya. So si Contacts Amazon Connect has a lot of different announcement. So for example, si contact lens for Amazon Connect, it's basically a machine learning capability integrated into Amazon Connect. It allows you to understand yung sentiment and trends ng customer conversation. So it listens in to what the customer is saying. It listens, and it will track yung sentiment niya. Galit ba siya? Or yeah. So for example, meron siyang sinabi, that's unacceptable. You know, makukuha yung mga keywords na yon na makukuha yung keywords na yun, may measure yung sentiment ng customer automatically by listening in real time. Si Amazon Connect yung nagle-listen. May opt-in to because it's listening to voice, so the customer needs to opt-in. So that's very important without yeah. Kaya yung sa mga contact center mapapansin nyo, this conversation may be recorded. Parang lagi nyo naririnig yon. So kailangan mo mag-opt-in. Kung ayaw mo, then you need to put down the phone. So other things na ginagawa ni contact lens, it also monitors compliance nung agent talking to the customer. For example, 'di ba sa call center, kailangan meron kang standard greetings, and then meron kang sign off na sasabihin mo may spiel ka. So may mga spiel ka. So si contact lens can track kung you're saying those things. If you're not saying those things, makikita 'yon as a report. So meron siyang full text transcript that supervisor can search and troubleshoot customer issues based on those transcripts. And next is yung Wisdom. So si Wisdom is a service and also integrated into sa contact lens. So as you talk to customers in real time, it can give you recommendation on articles and wikis and FAQs, yung mga uh, information that you have on your business. It can get those information and present it to agent. So if the customer, for example, is asking for on how to unlock a phone, for example, I unlock a phone, and since contactless is listening in real time with a conversation, Amazon Connect Wisdom can show the agent yung information on how to do that. So para madali niya ma-answer. Instead of searching pa, mag-search siya sa knowledge base, wikis, FAQs, which can be a lot. So once you connect that to Connect Wisdom will be the one to search that for you. And it also integrates with third-party applications like Salesforce or ServiceNow. So yung mga information can be taken from those sources. So customer profile. So customer profile is basically it stores information of yung customer profile. So that as you talk to customers, you see the profile of the customer that you're asking, that you're talking to as an agent. It also connects to third-party applications like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Zendesk, and then Marketo. So as you talk to customers, you can see information about your customer in real time. So voice ID, this is interesting. Di ba pag tumawag tayo sa contact center, sa mga call center, ang tatanong, mayroong mga ano, lalo na sa bangko, may mga tatanong, okay, what was your last transaction? What's your birth date? What's your mobile number? Ganun. What's your mother's maiden name? Yung may mga tinatanong, mga security questions. So yung mga security questions na yon is a way to authenticate if you are who you say you are. Ganun. Ngayon, si Amazon Connect Voice ID is an interesting service. It uses machine learning to analyze yung caller's unique voice characteristics. So, ina-analyze niya yung rhythm ng pagsasalita, the pitch, the tone as you speak. So, you can use this to authenticate yung kausap mo. So, what happens here is the first time that a caller calls Amazon Connect, so ang mangyayari is magki-create during the first few seconds ng call based on yung characteristic ng voice ng customer is magki-create siya ng parang voice print, parang fingerprint, voice print ang tawag namin. So digital voice print ng caller. So the next time, the second time na tumawag yung caller, mangyayari is yung first few seconds na magsasalita yung customer, i-compare siya dun sa voice print, digital voice print. If it's the same, it will confirm yung identity. If it's not, then sasabihin niya not authenticated. So para ma-authenticate mo, ma-assure mo na yung tumatawag na nagpapakilala by that name is the same person that you authenticated before. Okay? So Connect Task is basically just a task, like a task list that you can, as agent, you can assign, prioritize, and track yung task na ginagawa mo, and then you can say create task, and then you can say na completed na siya, resolved na siya, and also supervisor can monitor yung mga tasks. Okay, so let's shift again. Let's go to AWS for Industrial. So si AWS for Industrial, so these are solutions for industrial, mga manufacturing, yeah, um, um, companies. So this one is AWS Panorama. So this is also a machine learning service na meron siyang using computer vision CV. So it's a hardware. So it's a hardware that basically monitors yung mga cameras, and then i-stream niya yung video feeds into the cloud, and you can use this to analyze yung analytics. So it's um, we will have a family of Panorama devices. So this one will be launched in April 2021. This is the AWS Panorama appliance. It has computer vision, so you can use this to have computer vision technology enabled on the edge. So nandun sa edge. So you can use this to there's a lot of use cases, like for example, mga visual inspection kung tama ba yung product as it comes through the conveyor belt, or maybe in security, yung license plate recognition, makikita kung yung license plate, and then for manufacturing, measure yung quality ng mga manufacture, and also finding bottlenecks in industrial processes. Yeah. And another thing is to assess yung worker safety within your facilities. Nakasuot ba sila ng safety equipment? You can use this device. Yeah. So it's automatically integrated into the cloud. So another IoT device is the Amazon Monitron. Si Monitron is basically, there's two components. So you have your sensors, and then you have your gateway. So si sensors basically connects to submits information to this gateway, yung mga sensor na nakaka-capture niya. Currently, ang kina-capture niya na sensor is vibration and temperature data. Now, why is this important? Kasi si vibration and temperature data, itong mga sensors na to, ina-attach to sa mga manufacturing equipment. Yung manufacturing equipment is machines. So, yung equipment na yon, meron siyang vibration and then may temperature. By monitoring those two things, malalaman mo kung yung machine is magbe-breakdown na siya or kailangan na siya i-maintain. So by getting data about the vibration, temperature data, you would see if you need to do predictive maintenance in the equipment bago pa mangyari na masira yung equipment. So instead of waiting for the equipment to break down, malalaman mo na kagad na may impending breakdown. So you need to conduct predictive maintenance in that machine because you are able to understand na may yung vibration and temperature data. So itong mga sensors i-attach dun sa machine and then it connects to the gateway and then monitor on gateway, transfer the data to the monitor service, and you can monitor it in the on the app. So you can receive notification if there are abnormal conditions within the equipment. So for example, tumaas ng yung temperature data, biglang uminit. So you can see that and act on it. So other announcement that are related into industrial is yung Amazon Lookout. So si Amazon Lookout for equipment, um, so para siyang Monitron, but this one, it uses your own data. So this is your own data, your in the, existing sensor data, and basically submit it to Amazon Lookout, and it will look at abnormal behavior. And then si Lookout for Vision, para siyang panorama. It uses computer vision. It will spot defects and anomalies in manufacturing using computer vision. So ibibigay mo sa kanya, okay, this is a good item. Ganito itsura ng tamang toothbrush, and then ito itsura ng mali. So pag binigyan mo siya, tinrain mo siya ng that this is correct, if it sees something that is sira na item, it will say that that is a for quality assurance, mas mabilis because it's managed by computer vision. And you can scale yung quality assurance mo because it's using machine learning. So let's go to AI and machine learning. So SageMaker Jumpstart is basically it jumpstarts customers who want to go to machine learning. So SageMaker, if as you know, is the machine learning end-to-end machine learning service that we have. So you can use SageMaker to train the data, optimize, and then deploy that machine learning model for inference and integrate it into your application. So Jumpstart allows you to, it provides a set of solution for most common use cases. Kasi we've seen that there are a lot of common use cases that are available. So we use Jumpstart to help customers jumpstart in machine learning. So ito yung mga use cases like predictive maintenance, computer vision, autonomous driving, fraud detection, credit risk prediction, extract and analyze data from documents, churn prediction, demand forecasting, and then personalized recommendation. So ito yung mga common industry use cases. So you can and there's a lot more. 9 lang yung nabanggit ko. So as you can see here, we have 15 plus pre-built solution. So sa mga common use cases. So you can accelerate the time for you to deploy yung machine learning model mo. So instead of creating the model yourself, you just get that pre-built solution, use your own data so that you can have a machine learning model that is catered to your particular use case. So we have a lot of collection of content that is available when you use Jumpstart. Ang mga content na to, yung mga one-click deployment, fine-tuning of the yung mga pre-trained models, example notebooks in SageMaker, built-in algorithms, and then example notebook and templates for specific industry use cases, blog posts, and then video tutorials. So those are the things that are available in Jumpstart. Yeah, so here's just some of those use cases. So as I mentioned, there are 15 plus use cases. So si Data Wrangler is a new feature again in Amazon SageMaker. It is enabled through the SageMaker Studio. It basically allows you to aggregate and prepare data for machine learning application. So it's similar to the yung kanina nabanggit ko si AWS Glue Data Brew. It's similar. So those are for data engineers. This one is for data scientists to aggregate and prepare data. And this has more advanced cleansing, exploration, and visualization of the data. And you can leverage on built-in data transformation, or you can build your own custom transformation using PySpark, SQL, or Pandas, and you can visually analyze those things in SageMaker. So si feature store, so if you're into machine learning, si ang feature basically are attributes or properties ng mga models that are used during training and during inference to make prediction. So yung mga features or columns is basically represents a measurable piece of data that can be used for analysis. So common example nito as name, age, gender, and so on. Because to train machine learning model, basically you use this feature and also for inference. So SageMaker feature stores allows you to manage and store those features, and it can be a daunting task if you do this yourself, especially if yung features mo is used for variety of different machine learning models that you have, different use cases, so that you can just reuse those features by using the SageMaker feature store. Yeah. So this is an example. So as your raw data comes in, it goes to a feature processing, a tedious task. That's why you use feature store, so that as new data comes in, makikita niya na existing na yung features na yon. So siya na bahalang to discover that. And you ingest the data, store it, and then serve the data into your model or real-time inference or other like batch inference. SageMaker Debugger, it's not new actually. SageMaker Debugger has been there for no he been there for some time. I think this was launched in 2019, and you can use this to correct anomalies as such as losses, overfitting, and then overtraining. Now, what's new with debugger? Meron siyang new capabilities is allows you to monitor CPU, GPU, network, and I/O, and then yung memory while yung dun sa training jobs. Kasi before, it's hard to understand gaano kalaki yung node na gagamitin mo for training your data. And minsan hula na lang basically. So our customers is asking us ano yung utilization ng mga resources during the training job, kasi doon sa training job there can be many steps. So mas maganda alam mo yung utilization ng CPU, GPU, network, and then I/O, and then memory during the training job, so that you can optimize ano yung node type na gagamitin mo for training. Okay. So SageMaker Clarify, this is to detect bias during data preparation. So ito yung one of the challenges with machine learning modeling is yung biases. Yung biases happens, it's natural kasi and it happens kasi for example, if you have yung data set mo, For example, you're creating a machine learning model to detect behavior, the behavior of people, yung buying behavior, for example. You have an e-commerce site and you want to detect yung buying behavior ng customers mo. And it depends on your data, definitely. So if your data set, for example, ang data set mo, 70% are women, 30% are male. So nagkakaroon ng bias yung if you use that data set na mas 70% women and then 30% male, which is it happens talaga. So pag nag-create ka ng machine learning model, bias na siya. Bias na siya sa women because mas marami yung data set ng women eh. And so kapag yung users mo, yung male users mo accessing your e-commerce website, magtataka siya bakit may mga female products ako nakikita because of the biases. Now, si Clarify allows you to basically detect those biases so that when you train your machine learning model, you can identify yung biases. And once identified siya, you can limit the bias so that you can make more accurate prediction depending on the group. So that maybe you can create models na particular for female and in particular for male. Hiwalay siya para mawala yung bias. Maraming biases eh. Gender isa doon, maybe age kasi may different age group, yung teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on. Different yung behaviors nila. So those are biases as well. So this service allows you to detect those biases. Pipelines. So pipelines is a new feature in SageMaker that allows you to create a CI/CD pipeline. So in DevOps, di ba, for deploying our applications, we have CI/CD pipeline. So si SageMaker, machine learning training, deploying it has been, it's very complex. It's very complex. There are many steps from ingestion of data, training it, optimizing, and then testing it, and then deploying it for inference. Then there can be many iterations. So bago ng bago yung model, so there can be many iterations. It's been very hard to create CI/CD. We have customers that create their own CI/CD pipeline, and only the big ones, big names, can afford to do this because it's very complex. Now, SageMaker pipelines allows you to basically create CI/CD pipeline for your SageMaker so that you can train and then deploy and then retrain, etc. For your machine learning model. So si Health Lake is in the healthcare industry, so it's HIPAA eligible service that allows yung mga healthcare providers, insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies to store, transform, query, analyze health data. So it allows you to analyze data at petabyte scale. So it's been challenged kasi yung mga health data because of conforming to HIPAA compliance. So this one is a service that is HIPAA compliant, and you can ingest data and it uses machine learning to basically understand yung data. So it can organize and index and structure the data. And it also conforms to the Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resource, or FHIR, which is an industry standard format for healthcare organizations yung mga patient data. So if you put your data in health lake, so coming from laboratory or different medical documents, it can understand, for example, yung mga laboratory reports, clinical notes, insurance claims, medical images, conversations, time series data, all of those things can be ingested into Health Lake, and it can understand those things so that you are able to query and search them and then analyze those data using the same service. So si SageMaker Edge Manager is so basically it's a service at the edge. It allows you to so if you're familiar with SageMaker Neo, di ba maraming marami na kasing mga IoT devices, different platforms, merong IoT, mga machine learning model na i-deploy mo sa ARM processor, i-deploy mo sa mga smartphone, sa iba't iba sa Intel processors. So maraming klase ng devices. So there is service called SageMaker Neo that allows you to optimize yung machine learning models mo for edge devices. So si Edge Manager is basically a way for you to optimize and maintain machine learning models on the edge. So that, and then it has SageMaker Neo built in, so that you don't need to, SageMaker Neo kasi runs on the cloud, and then you will compile yung models mo based on the target platform. Intel ba siya, ARM, or smartphone, etc. Si SageMaker Edge Manager allows you to do that at the edge. So it's basically a software agent running on the edge devices, on the device, nandun siya naka-install, and it will optimize yung machine learning model mo with SageMaker Neo. So you don't have to have SageMaker Neo runtime running on the device. So si Edge Manager na lang bahala mag-optimize nung machine learning model. Yeah. Aside from that, yung agent also collects prediction data and sends sample of those data to the cloud, so that you can monitor, label, and then maybe retrain, you use that to retrain yung models mo, so that over time your models can be more accurate. Yeah. See, Habana Gaudi, it's basically an Intel product. Habana is an Intel company. And the Habana Gaudi based instances are basically EC2 instances that are powered by Habana accelerators. So si Habana accelerators are specifically optimized for deep learning training workloads. So if you are to train your machine learning model using Habana, you can utilize Habana so that you can accelerate training of those models. So we're gonna launch this in EC2 instances, and also we're looking at launching this as deep learning AMIs, and also in Amazon EKS, ECS for containerized application, and also within Amazon SageMaker. So SageMaker managed distributed training. So it's been a challenge to do training, lalo na for large data set, kasi merong theory in machine learning na as you have more data, the better your machine learning model is. So based on that theory, is basically you would need more data, and it's been a challenge kasi it can take hours in training data, and it can affect your go-to-market time because matagal mag-train ng data ng very large data set to achieve this. Before SageMaker distributed training, yung ginagawa nila, ni-split nila yung large data set across multiple GPUs para ang tawag dito yung data parallelism. But yung splitting the data can be challenging kasi you need to experiment ano yung pinaka-efficient on splitting the data para hindi ka magkaroon, syempre, yung kanina nabanggit ko, biases. And also, meron pang isang way, yung tinatawag na model parallelism. Ito yung i-split yung large models across multiple GPUs. So these two ways basically allows you to split the distributed training. So with SageMaker managed distributed training, basically this is managed. So automatically, SageMaker managed distributed training will profile your data automatically, and then partition your model. It's just a few lines of code that you need to put in your training script, whether TensorFlow or PyTorch that you're using, few lines of code. So it's very minimal code changes, and SageMaker will be the one to split your data across multiple GPU to achieve yung model parallelism and also data parallelism. So next, another hardware This hardware is a we call it Trinium, AWS Trinium. It's a high performance machine learning chip. So this is designed by AWS. This is used for training machine learning models in the cloud. So similar to yung Habana, this is also used for machine learning modeling training on the cloud. So and there are this is optimized. This particular chip is optimized for certain deep learning training workloads such as image classification, semantic search, translation, voice recognition, natural language processing, and then recommendation engine. So if you are looking at creating machine learning model based on that use cases, you can use Trainium for that. And it's based on the AWS Neuron SDK, which is already integrated with popular machine learning frameworks such as TensorFlow, MXNet, and PyTorch. So you can already use it if you're using that particular SDK. And we have here lastly is Amazon Neptune ML. So see Neptune ML. So as you are aware, see Amazon Neptune is a database service. It's particularly it's a graph database. So it's graph database based on relationship. Now, CML is a new capability within Amazon Neptune, the graph database, and it uses the graph neural network or GNNs. It's basically a machine learning technique that is built for a graph database so that you can make predictions using graph data. And what we've seen is that merong mga predictions that are 50% effective, more effective in more accurate in a graph database using graph neural network GNNs compared to non-graph methods. Kasi yung if it's a graph data, you know the relationship versus the tabular data. So merong mga algorithms in machine learning that is not effective for graph data. Specifically, effective sila sa mga tabular data. Well, Amazon Neptune is not a tabular data, it's a graph data database. So that's why we created this machine learning service capability in Amazon Neptune so that you can create machine learning models in Amazon Neptune database, and it's already also integrated with Amazon SageMaker under the hood to train those models. Okay, that's it for my part, and thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you, Rom. Thank you, Dabsel. Thank you for the very the recap of reInvent. It's really overwhelming, you know. So and also we have some questions, but we'll proceed na po sa panel discussion. In the interest of time, please stay lang po. We will be having a Q&A panel discussion and some games and some few announcements. So I'll be calling on Dams and Rom again for the panel discussion, and they will be joined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they will be joined by someone who is really a privilege to have him here. Nakikita niyo naman po na he's been answering some of the questions there. So I'll be introducing him. So he's the co-founder of Tutorials Dojo or tutorialsdojo.com, an edtech startup that provides high-quality educational materials in the cloud computing space. He has been recognized as an AWS community builder and a participant for the AWS Developer Acceleration or DevAx mentor program. So he currently holds 9 AWS certifications and is active in various AWS communities, including AWS User Group Philippines, forums, and our user group. He also published several AWS ebooks, which are available in the Tutorials Dojo portal and in Amazon Kindle. So let's welcome John Bonso.
Hi guys.
So
Hello. Thank you, Shard, for having me.
yeah, thank you, John. So may mga questions lang po for you. I'll be collecting the questions. There are some unanswered questions in Q&A. Maybe specific muna po tayo dun sa topic earlier. Um, okay, so question po ni Richard Dasigan. Is it really recommended that you periodically update the Data Wrangler Studio app to access the latest features and updates? I think this is more on ROM. ROM. Um, can you unmute?
Yes. So basically, it's yeah. So similar to Data Brew. So you can basically um, use this to transform data. So in terms of updating the maybe you're asking about the data. So as data comes in, basically it can be processed using Data Wrangler, and you can use this to train and update your model.
Okay. So Richard Dasigan, did that answer your question? I hope it did. Okay, chat lang po kayo ng mga questions nyo. Another question, I think this is addressed to all panelists, to John, Rom, and Dan. So sabi question here is, for each panelist, what's your AWS feature request wish list? So anyone po, pwede pong sagutin, John, Rom, and Dan. What's your AWS feature request wish list?
If I may butt in, because I noticed that we have, like, for example, there's AWS Singapore, AWS Taiwan region, and all of that. Wala bang AWS Philippines region? So I think that's one thing as well, because I've been answering this QA. There's a lot of, for example, Amazon Connect. There's still no DID for the Philippines, but they have it in Singapore, Taiwan, and all of that. So I guess that's one thing as well. AWS region for the Philippines.
That would be awesome, no? Kung mayroong AWS Philippines na, na region. How about Rom or Dams? Can you share what AWS feature requests are in your fit list,
Okay.
wish list?
For me naman, actually, ako, ang nasa wishlist ko, yung sa, like, a fully managed QA automation tool. Kasi, di ba, we already have a lot of developer tools, we have CI/CD, pero parang wala pang yung QA, pang test. Diba? So, we have a lot of third party that can integrate them with the CI/CD tools, like CodePipeline, ganyan. Pero wala pa yung built-in AWS. Like, a very easy to use QA automation tool para seamless na tsaka full na yung pipeline natin for automated testing para alam mo yun, magamit natin siya as continuous deployment na to production. So yun siguro for me.
Oh, thank you, Dams. That would be great from end to end na pipeline. How about Rom? Do you have any AWS feature requests wish list?
Um, there can be a lot. That's interesting yung sagot ni John, which is a local region, which is so that it's a region here in the Philippines. And um, marami naman consideration in terms of region. So that's one thing that is also one of the asks rin, and I wanted to have that as well, a local region in the Philippines. But we do have, yun, I'm seeing the chat, we do have a cloud front edge location that is in the Philippines. So other things is also connectivity, like if you're familiar with Direct Connect, because I usually work with enterprise customers, may mga customers who are running core workloads on the cloud and wants to integrate hybrid on their data centers or on-premise network. So connectivity to Singapore is available via Direct Connect. And also, so I would want to have connectivity on adjacent regions that we have so that we can have that low latency, yung mga Hong Kong region, Tokyo region, and Seoul region. But I know some AWS partner has connectivity na on, I've heard Japan, pero previously kasi it's just Singapore, which is, yung Hong Kong is just fairly new region. I would want a direct connectivity on that. It would really have a lot of customers.
I think that's an easier feature over AWS Philippines, direct connect with or easier connection from Philippines would be great also. So there's another question. Yes, we've been talking about reInvent and all the updates and features. So how do we catch up with this very fast pace updates, introductions of new AWS services and features? Yes, we have this event kind of events, but on a daily basis, or how do we catch up with all of this? Maybe any one of you can answer.
Yeah. John, maybe you can take that, no?
Yeah, I think yes. So regarding that question, Chard, so we are inundated with a lot of updates here and there. Actually, as you know, for Tutorials Dojo, we have a lot of updates in our practice tests and even our reviewers. It's hard. You don't because you'll be overwhelmed with a lot of updates. It's a global company with over almost 200 services and features, like thousands of features. It's always like that. But I think you just have to focus on because we have job roles, right? So if you want machine learning, go for machine learning. Get everything about that. For if you're looking for data analytics, focus on data analytics and all of that. For ML, of course, SageMaker. So just usually what I do is I subscribe to Jeff Barr or and other, like, be in the community. It's like, hey, I want to do, I just want to try it yourself and all of that. But again, it's just focus on uh, on on that specific field that you want, because you'll be blown away with all of these updates.
Thanks, John. How about Rom and Dance? So you're from AWS. How do you catch up with all these updates and features?
Ako naman, for me, we have a podcast din kasi for sa AWS. So, actually, on Spotify din siya. So, if may podcast, isearch nyo lang doon, AWS podcast. So, usually, kapag, syempre, if sa morning, di ba, kapag gising mo, magtitimpla ka ng kape, magluluto ka. So, pwede kang makinig doon. So, you can do that. Or even yung sa Amazon blogs, di ba, pag mapapansin nyo doon yung, sa very top, may parang play button doon. So, you can play it kahit may ginagawa ka, or if you don't have the time to read it as a whole, diba? So, that's what I usually do naman for me. Yes, and agree din ako sa sinabi ni John. So, if, yun nga, it would be good also if you can focus dun sa specific area mo, especially kung ano yung mga ginagamit mo talaga sa work mo. Pero syempre, it's also good from time to time na you immerse yourself to something new din, diba? Malay mo, interested ka pala sa ML, hindi mo lang alam. Parang, yeah.
Yeah, I think they answered it already. So let me just share a link. So it's a news feed in AWS. So you can get there and basically always look at that, subscribe to those feeds for you to get notified if there are new services. And as John mentioned and Dams has mentioned as well, focus on things that matters for you, whether it matters for you to perform your job. You can also look at announcement that you are interested, maybe a hobby. Like for example, kami ni Dams is we're solutions architects, so it's not really a for us na we're using AWS services to train ourselves on how to use this AWS service. But one thing that I'm passionate about recently is yung IoT. So I'm creating IoT and I'm learning around it, and I'm creating IoT devices. Nakapunta ako ng reInvent to in Builders Fair, but that I have an IoT project that I showcase there together with my colleagues, and and that's something that I do on the side, something that I'm passionate and yeah, interested out.
Thank you, Rom, John, and Dams for sharing that. Actually, I meron akong on my personal end, I set up like a Slack channel with RSS feed dun from that post, from the link that you shared. And so basta pasok na yung mga latest updates. Okay, so there's some few questions here. Siguro one last question, Rom. This is for you. How do I track my model components across the entire ML workflow? Would SageMaker experiments do the trick.
I can help answer the question. Hi Rom, hi
Okay,
guys.
okay. Hi,
Okay.
hi sir.
So for some context, kaya aware ako dun sa ganung. So maraming sagot dun sa ang question kasi niya is how do I track my model components across the entire ML workflow? There are a lot of different ML components. Kanina may mga na-mention na using a different service. Pero usually when you're using SageMaker and you're dealing with a lot of experiments already, there are a lot of it starts to get complex, especially when looking for kung saan ang galing yung ganito. So may lineage, meron ding experiments. Pero usually sa experiments pa lang and using the search API, that would help already. So how do SageMaker experiments work? Not sure if that would be enough to answer your question, but definitely that's one of the more important things sa experiments kasi may trial components. So for example, mayroon kang automated hyperparameter tuning job. It actually makes use of SageMaker experiments internally. And ano na siya, when you're trying to look for the other experiments and results, even yung results, nakamap na siya with training jobs. Mas madali siyang ma-manage kasi behind the scenes yung SageMaker experiments is already being used by some of the other capabilities of SageMaker. So let's say na you're running, 100 jobs. SageMaker experiments would allow you to easily keep track and manage them. May support pa yung SageMaker SDK. Nung parang one line of code lang, meron ka ng analytics agad yung experiments na ginawa mo. Mas maka-compare mo agad yung mga jobs. Tapos yung mga kapag nag-run ka din ng mga jobs using SageMaker experiments, if you were to code it yourself, pwede mong makabit, pwede mong ma-identify and ma-log yung, let's say, trials versus trial components. And it makes it easier for you to manage multiple experiments all at the same time. So yun yung pangalan niya, experiments. That's one of the options. Syempre, if you add tags, tapos ginamit mo yung search na API ni SageMaker, that's also possible. But definitely, kung katanong mo na how do I track my model components across the entire ML workflow, depends syempre sa service na ginamit mo. Yung sinabi ko lang SageMaker experiments applies to SageMaker experiments. Baka yung iba, meron ding ibang sagot.
Anyone else na gusto mag-pitch in?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're doing. So what do you want to track? So there's a lot. Kasi like for example, debugger. If you want to understand how your training is doing, tracking that, the debugger is something that you can utilize. So it depends on what are you looking for. Yeah, if you have specific use case, you can connect to us, and so that we can discuss it further. What is your particular use case and what are you looking for, so that we can check if there's something that's already built in SageMaker.
Yeah, actually, to add to what Rom said, medyo tricky nga kasi yung question, medyo vague na onte. Yung how do I track my model components? Yung mention ni Rom na debugger, pwede yun ikabit during training. So for example, kung gusto mong i-track, kung yung model mo is, let's say, during training biglang nagiging weird na yung behavior niya, may mention ni Rom, definitely that's one of the answers also. Na, for example, meron kang neural network na model. Tapos, meron na siyang mga weird behavior. Using debugger, meron ka lang ikakabit na ibang rules. Tapos, madidetect niya na from a rule-based aspect na pag nag-run ka ng jobs, magsasabi siya na okay, na-break yung rule, matatrack mo na nagka-problem siya. Meron ding tinatawag na SageMaker Model Monitor na kapag yung model mo is hindi yung de-deploy mong model sa production, medyo yung una mong di-deploy, tapos nagkaroon ka ng initial set of statistics doon, gusto mong i-log yung request and response every time na ginagamit yung inference endpoint, pwede si model monitor. Pwede kang magkaroon ng baselining saka regular checks dun sa model para malalaman mo kung kailan mo siya kailangan i-update kapag medyo nagde-degrade na yung model. So yan yung isa sa mga ways to track it also. Yeah, may ano siya, marami si SageMaker ngayon na bagong integrations and features. But definitely, yung na-mention nga ni Rob, debugger, yeah, tama. Tapos model monitor. Kapag yung deployed na yung model mo, tapos itong SageMaker experiments, kapag marami kang mga experiments, pwede mo siyang gamitin. Yung SDK, yung SageMaker SDK, may support siya for SageMaker experiments na madali siyang mahanap, makakuha ka ng data frame with all the analytics and data. Pwede din yun. Back to you guys. Sorry.
Wow. Grabe yung answer. Thank you, Sir Arbs. Sir Arbs is our resident AWS hero for machine learning. So thank you for answering that question. I think na-satisfied din si Richard Dasigan with the answer. So before we proceed to the next part, I would like to ask si John, Rom, and if you have any message or anything you want to say, how they can connect to you, if you want to tell them to just anything. Sige.
Richard, I think I'll start. So you can connect me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on our website at tutorialsdojo.com. So it's a Filipino website. You can check out the footer. So we're proudly Filipino. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, ako, you can check me out in LinkedIn. So I accept anyone as long as, I accept all professionals in my LinkedIn profile. So you can reach out to me via LinkedIn. I'll be happy to connect with you if you have specific question on AWS or anything technology in general. I'd be happy to help.
Yep. So same here. You can reach me via LinkedIn. So can just drop a message kasi minsan hindi ako nag-accept agad-agad. Unlike Chrome. So yon, and also we have our SA office hours. So if you have like questions sa company nyo, so we invite you also to go there. So Rom and I are part of that. So we will be doing consultations with you for free.
Thank you, Rom, Dams, and John for gracing us tonight. But I'll be just giving out some few announcements bago pa kayo umalis. Okay, I'll just share screen. Yan. Can you confirm that you can see it now?
Yes.
Okay na. Okay, good. So just few announcements. First, there will be a AWS Builders online series tomorrow. So if you did not register yet, please register. You can maybe we can post the Jambi, can you please post yung link to register for the AWS Builders online series?
Yep,
So there will be AWS.
post ko ngayon.
Yeah. Yes, please. So may AWS concepts, best practices, demos, and this is for everyone. Like for if you want to, if you're new to AWS, to someone with experience. So just register. It's really there are a lot of things going on in the AWS Builders online series. And also, I would like to invite you if you want to take yung cloud practitioner study, cloud practitioner exam, we would like to invite you to join po yung cloud practitioner study group coming this February. So nasa AWS User Group Philippines po yung details. So check nyo lang po ano yung mga conditions required. An example is you need to share experience, you need to attend 3 sessions. You must do your own study and few readings and homework. We encourage also to schedule the exam on the first week of August, so you still have time to study. So if you are interested, you just like and comment in that post. Subscribe to the YouTube channel Young CTO and jump andun din po sa post yung link. And as a final step, please email with the subject CCPT Group Feb 2021 your CV or link into Rafi at AWSUG.PH for selection. Ayan. And another yan. So I think you've been seeing this. It's really a great it's really great na meron na tayo dito. So AWS User Group PH Stormer. So if you're interested, just visit yung AWS store.awsug.ph, and just there are a lot of designs, may t-shirt, and example itong t-shirt na to, syempre ipopromote ko, and pillow, Kita ba yan? Kilo, yan. Nagana, okay? And mugs, yan. So just go to that site and just explore anong interest sa inyo. And also, we'd like to invite you sa February, no? So we'll be having this on the third week of February, which is February 18. And we will have a theme of startup and business. It's a startup and business meetup. So startups yung ano natin. Hindi po ito yung Korean series. So nagkataon lang, but that's our theme for our next meetups. We'll be having CEOs and founders, including John, to grace us in this meetup. So yan po, if you're interested, go to the meetup page of AWS User Group Philippines. And also, yan. So yun lang po. We'll be having a game. If you're interested, alam ko, we extended na po yung time. And if you're interested to join na po sa game. But if not, okay, you can feel free to leave na po. So I'll be calling on Sir Rafi to facilitate the game.
Okay, so hi everyone, thank you. No, so again, we're a little over time. So the last part is now a game or a friendly competition. So the top winners or top scorers, we will be giving away some merch. No, some merch. So maybe you can get the T-shirt or credits, right? So again, at least the top one, we're sure that we're gonna give. Probably the top two. If up top 3, top 4, top 5, you will find out. No. So at the very end, we'll ask for an email to make sure that we can contact you. Right. So again, if you are interested to join, I can see that we have 12 participants, 13 participants already, 14, 15. You can open it in your mobile phone. Baka mas mabilis ang mobile phone, no? Kasi touch, mabilis sumagot. Or you can also use your browser. Ayan. Tapos, this will be the game. We're hoping that you listen during the reInvent recap. And so let me just give it a few more minutes. If everyone's okay na, I have 22 participants. We are 52 here. So ayoko lang muna mag-start hanggang more or less ready na lahat, no? Okay, wala nang pahabol. Ito may habol pa. 24. Okay, saglit lang para may chance and fair to everyone. So again guys, nakita niyo sa background ko, nakuha ko tong quote na to kay Zon. You can't spell swags without AWS. So nga naman, no? Tingnan nyo. Can't spell swags without AWS. So that's why nag-merch store din tayo kasi ang hirap bumili doon sa official website. No? Of course, kung kaya nyo bumili sa official, we prefer you buy in the official. But if not, this store that AWS ships nationwide, no? All right, so I think we should start now. We have 30 participants already. We gave you enough time, I think, already to register. So it's ahaslides.com/cb117. Okay, so we'll start. Hopefully, gumana to, no? Right. So here we go. We will now start the quiz. 32 players. Okay, now yan, lumalabas na yung mga pangalan nyo. Okay, 20.
Ano daw premyo?
Anong premyo? We're giving away the swags store. We're also looking at credits as well, AWS credits as well, no? So sa store, we're giving out, things like shirts, jackets, mugs. Okay, and again, sa mga hindi manalo, again, you can always buy. All right, so we'll start na ha, kasi it's 9:25 na. Okay, so we'll start. Pabilisan to, and patama, and of course, dapat correct. Okay, so we'll start with an easy one. Question 1 out of 9. What was the format of reInvent 2020? Physical, virtual, or both?
hirap naman yata niyan, Rob.
Ito yung first question natin.
Warm up.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up. Ayun, may sumagot ng physical. Wala tayong physical. Wala. So, 100% virtual yung reInvent ng 2020. Alright, next question tayo. Tingnan natin yung leaderboard. Ayun, pinakamabilis si Elijah. Okay, we'll go next. Question number 2 out of 9. What is the browser-based shell that makes it easy to securely, okay, di ko mabasa kasi, manage, explore, and interact with AWS resources? Is it EKS Anywhere, Cloud Shell, Proton, or Trainium? One. Tignan natin. It's Cloud Shell, guys. Okay, so yun yung answer for that. Okay. Tignan natin yung leaderboard effect. Ayun, mabilis pa rin si Kamote King and si Elijah. Next question. Okay. Blank is an ML-powered service that makes it easy for developers and operators to automatically detect issues to improve application availability. Yun. And reduce expensive downtime. Is it Cloud Shell, Proton, Code Guru, or DevOps Guru? Yan, medyo a little hard to, no? ML-powered. Ayan. So, ang answer, guys, ay DevOps Guru. Since madaming sumagot ng Proton, Rom and Dams, baka i-review lang ano yung Proton.
So yung Proton, AWS Proton, so it is mostly used for as a deployment service, as I say, CI/CD for our serverless and container applications.
Yes, wala siyang ML part, no? Wala siyang machine learning na part. So, yun. Sa Code Guru naman, guys, this is more towards the code yung chine-check, no? So, hindi ito yung application availability and yung downtime. So, DevOps Guru yung sagot. Right, next question. Tingnan natin anong effect nito, no? Sa leaderboard natin. Ay, nagbago na leaderboard natin, guys. Okay, next question. 4. Again, faster, more points. Which operating system was recently supported in AWS Nitro? Linux, Windows, Mac, or Lustre? Three, two, 1. Time's up. Yan. So, correct answer is Mac. Yes, bare metal instance po to. They're powered by the Mac Minis. Right? Matagal na pong supported yung Linux. So, yung Mac po. Right. So, yun. Next question. May chance pa humabol, guys. Very close naman yung mga and baka magkamali pa yung mga leader, no? And again, hindi natin alam. Malay mo, top 10 pala or depende lang sa budget, no? Na makuha natin. Next question, 5 out of 9. Can you deploy containers in Lambda? Okay, yes or no? Pwede ba ang containers sa Lambda? 8, 7, 6, 5. Sure ako yung containers pwede sa Beanstalk. Sa Lambda? The answer is yes. So, Dams, baka very quick lang, no? Kasi bakit pwede na yung container sa Lambda? Kasi madami nagkamali.
Yes. So, one of the releases ngayong last reInvent, so we now have a container image support sa AWS Lambda. So, with this, you can now package and also deploy yung mga functions as container images.
Yun. Alright. Next question tayo. Tingnan natin yung leaderboard. Alright. Si Jams. Oy, si Jams kasama dito. Alright. Next question. No score. No score to. Would you be interested to purchase in AWSUG.PH swag? Ay, buti na lang. Thank you. Alright.
Ano yung correct answer?
Correct answer to. No score nga to, no? So thank you lang for feedback, no? Early feedback for that. So question 6 out of 9. Ito na talaga yung question. Can you run ECS on premises? Okay, local data center mo, can you run ECS? So option, not possible. Option 2, only through Outpost. Number 3, using ECS anywhere. And number 4, direct connect required. Ayan. So, ang correct answer dito ay, guys, may ECS anywhere na. So, you can run ECS on premise. Okay, so aside, pwede, of course, you can run, I think you can already run ECS on Outpost. But, hindi na lang siya yung only option. So, ngayon may ECS anywhere na.
Take itong question na to, sir. Naano ako dito.
Nadali
ako.
Dito. Nadali.
Nadali ako. Wala na, hindi na ako first.
Okay lang yan. Next.
Oh, Mark G.
Yan, si Mark G. Question 7 out of 9. Okay, so third to the last na to. Which engines currently does Aurora Serverless version 2 support? Okay, Postgres SQL and MySQL, Postgres only, MySQL only. Okay, so which engine is it supporting or compatible with? Ayan. So, Roms, baka you wanna take this kasi madami nagkamali sa Aurora Serverless version 2. Nandiyan pa ba si Rom?
Yung internet daw, up and down.
Ay, okay. So, guys, yung version 2 ni Aurora Serverless, currently, MySQL pa lang. Naka-preview siya now, and right now, ang naka-announce is MySQL pa lang. Maybe, aabot din yan sa Postgres, but at the moment, MySQL pa lang.
Sigurado yung V1 yung yung V1 yung boot. Tapos yung V2, yun yung MySQL.
Yung V1, tama. V2 kasi to yung tinatanong natin, which was announced in last reInvent, no?
Okay.
Alright. Tingnan natin yung change ng effect. Uy, humabol si Elijah. Question number 8. Okay, which is a machine learning appliance and SDK which allows you to bring computer vision to your on-premise cameras. Nako, hindi ata to na-discuss, no? Nasa reInvent lang kasi, pero hopefully, kaya niyong sagutin to. So ito ay new reInvent device, ML powered din, na pwede mo na ikabit sa CCTV mo. So the answer here is Panorama. So yung recognition service siya, Panorama is actually a device that you can add. Yung Trainium is yung machine learning na chip. Okay, so yeah, Panorama yung sagot. Medyo nadaanan nata yun, hindi ako sure. All right. So before we show some more scores and our last question, i-open ko lang to pala. Feedback lang. Did the meetup help you with new learnings or knowledge?
No, 100%. Lakas.
Buti na lang, may silbi yung meetup natin. Boy, may nag-raise ng hand. Baka may nag-chat or something or ano? Good, thank you. Again, that's why we're doing this, to help everyone, no? Right, so yung leaderboard natin ay si Mark, no? Hindi kasama yung kaninang question sa did it help, no? Hindi scored yun. Survey lang yun. Overall, again, no score din to. How was the time of the event, platform, and presentation format? I-open ko lang ulit din. Very good. Very is very good, no? Good, fair, no comment.
Very good.
Yes. Okay, very good, guys. Thank you. Again, panelists. Thank you sa ating host, no? Especially, shout out sa host natin. Napakagaling. Lagi yung active sa, parang every morning, nakikita natin, guys. Sinong gusto na libreng training, ito po yung link. No? For now, host na rin siya. Okay, thank you, Chard.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. So now, ito na. Last question na talaga to. Question 9 out of 9. Ito, no bonus points for faster. How long was reInvent last December? 2020 yan hindi yung 2021. Sorry. 2020. Is it 5 days, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, or 12 days? Ano kahaba ang reInvent natin? Yan, may 25 answers na tayo. 30 answers na. Time's up. Ayan. So, ang answer natin, 3 weeks po yung reInvent. Ganon kahaba yung reInvent natin last December. Alright. So, bago tayo ipakita yung final score, tanong muna, are you AWS certified? Yes, in the next few months, in the future, unsure, or probably will not. Especially since may AWS certified dinner nga tayo sa Feb 4 between 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pagpapadala ng pagkain si AWS. So thank you Dams and Roms sa team nyo. Tumatanggap naman kami ng kahit anong pagkain, pizza ba yan o fried chicken, ganun, no? Right, good. Cool, ang dami na pala ditong certified. Thank you very much, no? Right, so ito na yung score. Ay, hindi pa wala yung score. So again, kung sa mga hindi pa certified and gusto magpa-certify, ang recommendation namin is to always try CloudProc first. Kasi mas mura siya and may better foundation siya. Pag pumasa ka, 50% off sa next exam mo. So generally, almost magkalapit lang yung price ng total cash out mo. And may 2 certificate ka na. And also because we also teach or we tutor. February, we have a session. We have March, we also have another round. And then on April, we'll have SAA naman. No? Alright. Okay. So next, ito na yung score natin. Bago pala yung score, email address para just in case part kayo ng top winners. At least alam namin paano kayo makontak. No? So, again, if gusto nyong manalo and sa tingin nyo part kayo ng top 10 or nasa top kayo, palagay na lang ng email address nyo para we can get your info and we can send you prizes.
Ilan rapi yung mananalo?
Oy, open ba to? Or wait lang open ko lang ulit. Sorry guys, hindi pala naka-open yun. One more time. My bad yun, no? So again, palagay na lang yung email address nyo, especially if nasa top kayo. Or baka wala na. Hindi ko kasi makita kung may score, no? Pero inopen ko lang ulit just in case. Okay. Thank you. Naka-hide kasi yan, so hindi natin mapapansin. Right, so ito na talaga yung final score for everyone. Here we go. Congratulations. So our top one is Elijah, followed by Mark, Sharp, Jams, Mark G, ZPB. Okay, ZPB. Ayan. Tingnan lang natin ulit yung score, no? Si June, Alex, Joanna, kay Tyrone, kay Jeff, said John, timed out, Renzo, Seiji, JB, John, Brian. Okay, nasa top 20 kayo, Chris, no? So again, we'll contact you. Depende na lang later kung for at least yung top 1, top 2, sure may price na. Papa-approve ko lang yung budget ng iba. Wink, wink sa mga taga AWS. Budget, please. All right, thank you guys. So thank you for your time. That's it. We are again active in Facebook. The handouts, we'll try to get you handouts as soon as possible. But if you want to do a recap on your own or you have something to read, then you can definitely check that as well. So again, thank you everyone. I hope you enjoyed the night, and I hope kumain na rin kayo, no? Yan, ayan.
So thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Sana all may t-shirt daw. So again, we would like to say thank you to Rom, to Dams, and John for gracing us in this meetup. Really appreciate your time and effort in sharing sa amin yung recap. Really, thank you. And in behalf of the organizers, Rafi, Arvs, Jambi, and me would like to thank you everyone for attending and hope to see you sa next meetup natin sa February. Okay, so stay safe, guys.
Thank you.
Bye guys. Bye guys. Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Lahat pwede ba magka-t-shirt? Pwede naman.
Thank you.
Kaya nga may store na tayo, di ba?
Bibili lang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yung sir, yung prices hanggang top 5 para kasama ako.
Congrats, Jobs.
Loko lang. Nakisama pa no?